Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school, children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today.
So children, let us pick up from where we left last time. So remember, we were doing a lesson in standard 9th English, and the name of the lesson was The Fall of Troy. And we had done part 1 of the lesson. So what you can do is you can go back and watch that video so that you will know how the story progressed and who were the characters of the story and what was the story about. But let me tell you in short that it was about a lady called Helen, who was the wife of the Greek king Menelaus, and she was taken away, or she eloped with the prince of Troy called Paris. And so the Greek army, they came up to the city of Troy in order to avenge the wrong that had been done towards their king. And we also saw in the part 1 of this story how this war went on for 10 long years, and how many people from both the sides, that is from the Greek side as well as the soldiers of Troy, many you can say brave soldiers, they had to face death. Okay, and when we stopped there, I told you that we will see the conclusion of the story next time when we meet, and therefore I'm here back with part 2 of the story, The Fall of Troy, and we will see what happened in the second part of the story today. We will also look at certain exercises which are there in your textbook. All right, so let us move on and let us proceed to our story about the fall of Troy, and let us see what all things happened and how the Greeks fought, and did they use their muscle power or did they use their brain, and what was the final outcome of this particular war. Okay, so the battled, like I told you, they battled long and hard for so many years. And you know that any battle, whenever you fight a war or whenever you fight a battle, there are many lives which are lost, isn't it? And in the same way, you can see that the people of Troy lost many brave leaders, and the people of Greece also lost many a brave leader or a soldier. Okay, so the battle continued long and hard, and then there was this very cunning Greek, you can say, officer called as Odysseus, who thought about a plan. Now, Odysseus knew that 10 years of battle and they couldn't enter the walls of Troy. Okay, so Odysseus realized that this battle will now have to be fought with the brain and not with brawn. Okay, he realized that in case they have to win this battle, they will have to think about something else to do, and they will have to become cunning here, so that somehow or the other they will overtake or they will overpower the people of Troy, because the city of Troy was so well protected, like we saw in the story last time. It was covered with it was surrounded by a thick wall, and no one could penetrate the wall. So it was like the Trojans were inside, the people of Troy were inside the walls, and the people of Greece were outside the walls, and the fighting was going on, and there was no solution to the fighting. So now this very, very cunning person called Odysseus, he thought of a plan, and he decided that this plan will bring victory to the Greeks. And so he said, let's build a great wooden horse. Okay, now what is the horse? The horse is supposed to be an animal which is of help to human beings. Okay, now this horse was built with an intent to deceive someone. Now, this horse would be a wooden horse which would be huge in size, and there would be a lot of empty space inside. Okay, so they all set to build this great wooden horse, and it was so big that it could hold men inside. And they decided that they will let some of their best fighters hide inside this horse. Okay, and what was the other part of the plan? The other part of the plan was that once the people enter into this horse, they will stay there. And they knew that the people of Troy would fall for their plan, and they would take the horse inside the compound wall. And there, these people who are hidden inside planned to step out and attack the people of Troy. So that was their plan. So all the Greek leaders, they decided to follow the advice of Odysseus, because Odysseus was not only wise but he was also very, very cunning. So now a great horse of wood was made by very, very skillful artisans and also a very skillful engineer. And many of the leaders, that is Menelaus, Odysseus themselves, they entered into the horse. Okay, and also the architect, that is the person who had designed this horse, he also went into the horse and hid, because he was the only person who knew how to open and shut the entrance of the horse. So everything was ready, and the Greeks were now ready to cheat the people of Troy. So what they did was they dragged the horse and they left the horse outside the gates of the city of Troy. Now, what do you think must have happened? They left it. See, you can see the horse right outside the gate, and the horse was so huge in size that they would have to open the gate to take the horse inside, or they might have to make a big hole in the wall. And what these Greek soldiers, very, very smartly, they left from that place. Okay, they moved away from that place, and they also burnt all their tents. All right, so that when the Trojans would come out, when the people of Troy would come out, they would look and they will feel, array, these people have gone. They have, you can't see them anymore. They have burnt all their tents, so they seem to have gone. The shores also were deserted. The shores means the seashores of the place was also deserted. So the Greeks pretended that they're leaving and they're going. They're giving up the war and they're going back home. The people of Troy were extremely happy, but then their happiness was short lived. Okay, because you could see now that the people were sailing away. The people of Greece, or the soldiers of Greece, were sailing away from Troy, but they did not go far. Okay, they went a little far away into the ocean. They did not go far away into the ocean. They went a little far away where the people of Troy could not see them. And then what they did was they found a place to hide. All right, so they lowered their masts and they waited in hiding. Now, what were they waiting for? They were waiting for the horse to enter the city of Troy, and the people inside the horse would then do something so that these people could enter the city of Troy as well. So that was the plan of the very wise and very cunning Odysseus. Okay, but the people of Troy, they were very happy when they saw the horse, and they were amazed. Okay, they thought that the people of Greeks were tired now of the long war, and they have sailed away on their ships. Okay, so they started trying to figure out what is this horse about, and why is this horse so big in size, and why have the Greeks made this horse and then let it go and they have left it here. So they started finding an answer. In the meanwhile, they saw a person, a Greek person who was left behind. See, this person, his name was Simon, and Simon was actually left behind deliberately by the Greek soldiers, okay, in order to misguide the people of Troy. So Simon started telling a story. Simon said that the people of Greece or the soldiers of Greece, they wanted to offer something to the sea god, okay, or they wanted to offer something to their god Athena. So they wanted to make an offering, and they felt that if they make a small horse as an offering, what would they do? The Trojans would take the horse inside. Okay, that is why they made such a big horse so that the people of Troy could not take the horse inside the city. And he also said that the Greeks wanted to sacrifice him also, but somehow he had hidden away from them. So this story was told by the Greek who was deliberately left behind by the Greek soldiers. Okay? This was done so that all these lies would make the Trojans believe that yes, the horse is good and we can take it inside our city. So, who's Athena here? Athena is the goddess of wisdom, intellect, and invention. And they also said that since they are going away on a voyage, they wanted to offer something to the sea. Okay, so that is why the horse was constructed. So now you can see the people of Troy, they opened the mighty gates of the city. Can you see how the gates of the city have been opened? And the horse has been dragged into the city. Now, when they were doing all this, there was the priest of Troy, that is Laocoon, who was very worried. He did not want these people to bring the horse inside. The priest was a very wise person and he warned them. He said that they are trying to cheat you and they will finish you. Okay, you will bring a lot of disaster to the city if you break the walls of the city or if you open the gates of the city. But then the people were so excited on seeing such a big horse that they did not pay any attention to the words of the wise priest. So they broke down a part of the wall in order to drag the horse in. So you can see how they have somehow managed to drag the horse in. And then there was a lot of merry people were dancing, they were feasting, they had wine to drink and they celebrated. And after a grand party, you all get tired and you sleep. So in the same way, after a lot of rejoicing and after a lot of celebration, all the Trojans, they went off and they slept soundly. Now, in the middle of the night, what happened is you can see all the brave soldiers of Greece coming out of the horse. Okay, they stepped out of the horse, and you know that the ships of the Greek had not gone far away. Okay, they were hidden nearby, and as soon as these people got out, what they did was they went and they opened the gates of the city. And then you will see that the Greek soldiers, they came back in huge numbers. Okay, so at night the soldiers hidden inside the horse came out, and the Greek soldiers also opened the gates from inside so that their other soldier friends could enter the city of Troy. And then there was havoc. The Greek soldiers wreaked havoc. Now I have put this phrase wreaked havoc in a different color. I want you to go back and check in the dictionary or check on the internet what the meaning of wreaked havoc is. So you must have understood what it meant. See, when I said that the Greek soldiers came back and they wreaked havoc. So you can guess what it means. It does not have a positive meaning. Okay? Nevertheless, you will go and you will try and find out what the meaning of this phrase wreaked havoc is in this particular lesson. And then there was no looking back for the Greeks. They burnt the entire city of Troy down. You can see Very sad. It was a very sad thing for the people of Troy. The Greeks entered and they burnt down the entire city of Troy. And Troy was filled with the sight of leaping flames. You can see fire burning buildings, and people are running helter skelter. Okay, there was a sound of shouting and crying of women, of children, and there was a sound of weapons being fired. Okay, and you can still see the horse standing in the middle of everything. Now the enemies were at their doorstep. Till now, till for 10 long years, the enemies were not able to enter the city of Troy. But now, what had happened is just in one night, and that also because of the genius of one person called Odysseus and his wise idea, the people of Greece were inside Troy now. Okay, and they seized the weapons of the Trojans and they killed many Trojans. Okay, and finally, you can say that the city of Troy lit up the bright sky in the night as it went up in flames. It was a very sad sight to see when you can see the city of Troy up in flames. Okay, and they burnt down the entire city. The Trojans fought and fought, but it was of no use. They could not match the Greeks. And there was a lot of people also who suffered. For example, you can see the old king of Troy, King Priam. He was killed along with all his brave sons. All right, and the women also. Oh, all the women of the wives of the kings, the wives of the princes, and all the other women, they were taken away as slaves by the Greek people. So you can see how much of suffering these people had to go through. All right, and all the suffering had happened because of one lady, Helen. So let us see what Helen's condition was here. So Menelaus, Helen's husband, he forgave Helen. He said, it is okay, we had to fight for 10 long years because of you, but I forgive you. And why did he forgive her? He forgave her because he felt that it was not Helen's fault, but it was Aphrodite's fault. Now, who's Aphrodite? I will show you the image shortly. And then when Menelaus forgave Helen, what did Helen do? She also grabbed the opportunity and she returned to Greece with Menelaus. So you can see so many people suffered, and there was such a huge war which was fought for 10 years and hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. The entire city of Troy was burnt down to ashes. But this lady Helen, she returned to Greece with Menelaus. And who is this Aphrodite? See, she is Aphrodite. She is supposed to be the goddess of love, according to Greek mythology. Okay? So she said, Menelaus believed that it was Aphrodite who had made Helen leave her husband and her children and go with Paris. But when you see the city of Troy, it suffered hugely because of all this. Okay, children, so this was the part second of the story of the Helen of Troy. And now you know how Troy fell. Troy did not fall because of the inability of the Troys to fight, inability of the people of Troy to fight. They were fighting continuously for 10 years. Okay, but at a particular stage, the Greeks started believing that if they keep on fighting like this, very soon there will be no reason to fight for. Okay, many people will be dead, Helen will be dead, Helen will grow old and die, and we will still be fighting. So they devised another plan, and then you know what happened. They built the horse, and finally the horse became the nemesis of the people of Troy. So this was the story, children. Now, like I told you, we will look at a few exercises which are remaining here. So let us go to the exercises. So this is the first one. You're supposed to find and write the Greek and Trojan names used in the story in part 1 as well as in part 2. So what were the Greek and Trojan names? So you should pause the video here. You should open up your textbook and you should try and find out the names. Okay, and then when I give you the names now, you can try and recollect, okay, and see whether your answers are right. So we have Paris. Who was Paris? Paris was the prince who made Helen elope with him, and you can say that in a way he was the person who was responsible for the entire thing happening, the entire war happening. Okay, and then you have Menelaus. He was the king of Greece and he was Helen's husband. Okay, and then you have Hector. So from now onwards, let us see the names which were coming up. You will try and do a background check on them. You will check in the textbook and see who they were and write at least two sentences about them. Then you have Achilles. There was a very interesting story about Achilles which I told you last time. Do you remember? I also told you about an English phrase or an English idiom which has been, you can say, coined after Achilles. So what was that idiom and what was the meaning of that idiom? Also you can go back and check from the previous video. Then you have the next person, Odysseus. So if you say that it was Paris who began the war, it was Odysseus who actually went and finished the war. Okay? Then you have this person, Priam, who suffered without any mistake of his. And finally, you can say that this person was also responsible for the war happening because it was she who put these feelings in Helen's mind according to Menelaus. So these are all the characters who are part of the story. You can write two lines about each of these characters. Okay? Let us now go on and look at the last exercise for today. But here I will not be giving you all the answers, children. This is your homework. I will give you around 2 words and you're supposed to find out the other words on your own. This is a very simple vocabulary exercise for you. So list all the words related to war from both parts of the story. So you have to look at part 1 also and part 2 also of the story like we just did in the previous exercise. So what do you think? What kind of words will be related to war? So words regarding violence, okay, bravery also, about brave people, qualities of brave people, about struggle, etc. So find out as many words related to war as you can from the story, both the parts of the story. So look at the words which I have picked out. So I have picked out enemy, I have picked out attack and defend. Okay, so these are all words related to war, isn't it? Now I will give you one more exercise here as part of your homework. So you can pick up as many words as you can from the story, but make sentences using at least 5 of these words. So let us do an example here. So with enemy, what kind of sentence will you make? The enemy entered our territory during the night. Any sentence, okay? It need not be connected to this lesson. What about attack? The Chinese attack on the Indian borders is a cause for worry. This could be a sentence. What about defend? The Indian army is strong enough to defend any kind of external aggression. Alright, children. So here we have completed the story of the fall of Troy. In the previous video, we did part 1 of the story, and today's video we did the second part of the story where we looked also at a few points of vocabulary related to the story.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.